You're on the last call with Destination CEO. As usual, I'm always excited because it's my show. But I'm excited because tonight is going to be a fantastic show. Because we have participants from our grads from Destination CEO who are going to come and share their stories. We've got our mentors who's going to be quizzed and who are also going to be sharing their stories and what mentorship really means to them, how it helps them in their own personal and professional life. Mentees who have been groomed by these mentors, there's going to be roundtable conversations. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope that I have a lot of you here today and that all of you are going to take this opportunity to not only hear these amazing stories and listen to the great advice you're going to get tonight, but also take an opportunity and ask questions. If you are in the job search mode and you're looking for a mentor or you're looking for guidance, how should you approach? What are the qualities you should be looking for? How to do proper research? How do you make a mentor feel that their advice is priceless, not worthless? Yes, that's a huge problem, by the way. Mentoring is a gift. And I always say this, that the biggest gift you can give me is the gift of your time, because that's something that you will never get back. So mentoring is a gift that if somebody decides to give you, something that they will not ever get back. So how to take that gift and to cherish it, and not just cherish it, but make the mentor realize that the value of that gift given to you is absolutely priceless. Why should I be talking today when I have such fantastic guests on the show? So without further ado, I'm going to bring them all on and let them share their side of the story. So welcome again to the last call, roundtable conversation with participants and mentors of Destination CEO. Hello, Ashwari.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, Meena. Thank you so much for your warm welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Shreyas. Hi, Alauddin. How's everybody?
Nice. How are
Good
you?
evening. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy
Wednesday.
Awesome. So today is a very unique show. This is the first time we have our mentees and mentors all together. And I'm really excited about how this goes today. So we're going to start with Aishwarya. Aishwarya, you're a participant from our very first cohort. So how are you? And why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself today?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I believe we are all doing fine. I'm pretty nervous. And thank you so much, Meena, for giving us the opportunity to share our feelings on the prestigious platform. And I feel very privileged to be part of the Destination CEO family. And let me help those who don't know me. I'll introduce myself. I'm Aishwarya Angadi, working in Value Infinity as a business analyst, and very privileged to say that Dr. Alauddin Ahmed is my boss, and I'm working with him. Very nice person. And what I would like to say is, I graduated as an industrial engineer in October 2019, and right after that, I moved to Toronto for my job search, for my dream job search, and it was going nowhere. Like, I was not sure whether I'm doing it right, whether my resume is nice. I was not getting anywhere near. So that's when I was whining to my friends, and that's when my friend Nikita, she insisted me that I get in touch with Meena. And to be honest, the very first conversation I had with Meena, I felt very comfortable. I was feeling that someone is there for me to guide, support me, and until now, she has been guiding me, supporting me all this time. And wherever I have ups and downs, she guides me. Like, I see her as my mother in Canada. Second mother is my Canada. And she's always there to comfort me, and she has guided me right way. She would always conduct meetings, live sessions with mentors to meet get us the right guidance what we need. We would ask the questions what we had. All the job seekers in mind would be running that, why, what should I do, what should I not do, what, how should my LinkedIn profile look, and all stuff. She used to help us get in touch with mentors right away, and we would get help in mock interviews, resume development. Most of all, we fall short in resume development, and that's where Meena helped us a lot, helped me a lot in getting my resume done right. Of course, there's no perfect resume, but it was very at an amateur level. She made it, she purified it a daily. We used to send, and I used to call her like late nights also. I used to bug her a lot, but she always was there for me. And one such of, she always tries to give the best what she can give to the people who are come in search of her help. And one such her effort is the speed networking. That's where I met Biju sir, and felt very really nice there that all other mentors were also there. They gave us the right coaching, like right guidance, what we as job seekers need to how we can improve ourselves in our branding, how we need to improve our skills day by day and not give up. Until now, like even now, I remember Biju sir's saying that never give up, always hustle. You have to hustle, and there's no other way. That keeps lingering in my ear even now. And every Sundays we used to Meena, me, other participants, and Biju. He would take time of his weekend just to meet us, to guide us, and that's why I like Biju a lot. And he and he's always there for us. And Biju and Aladdin are very good friends, and in the conversation, Biju mentioned about me, and Aladdin felt okay. Let's have a talk with Aishwarya, and me and Aladdin had one-to-one conversation first on phone, and he also the best part is he didn't I didn't feel like I'm giving an interview. It was just like a normal conversation, and right next like few days later, we both had he conversation on with in his office, and the best part is he didn't make me feel that I'm in the interview environment. Okay, what is gonna ask technical questions or behavioral questions and all, but he made me comfortable, very comfortable, trying to know what I can bring to the table, and we both shared our thoughts, experiences, and the best part is I'm working in supply chain where I always wanted to work, and he always is there for me when I started searching, like I started working for him like from February, and ever since then he's been guiding me all the time, and whenever I need his support, daily we have conversation like how I can improve myself. As you all know, I'm a continuous improvement engineer, so and he always tries to improve me, and I always try to give my best at what I can. And the he always he talks very philosophical with me, and he gives me the right guidance when I need to, and never discourages me. And we have one-on-one conversation monthly. He gives me reviews saying that okay, you can improve here and you can improve there, and I give my feedback that I want to improve here, I need your guidance, and he guides me where how I can improve myself in those areas where I want to improve. And always wherever I feel I'm lacking in uh, delivering the uh, delivering the results, he helps me. He and Shreyas, both of them come to help, and they'll be like, okay, what you want me to do? Okay, let's do it together. We are like a family right now, and we always feel comfortable seeking help for each other, and they always are with me, and I don't feel like I'm working for someone who's very um, detached, but he's always there with me, and he talks to me very comfortably. And that's how I feel a mentor. uh, that's how mentorship comes into play. Biju and Aladdin and Meena, of course, they always been with me like more than a mentor. They were more like a friend to me. Always they are with me. And the best quality of mentor is they know how to approach a mentee. uh, for some people they have to push hard, for some people they have to just give that comfort, and they go grow themselves. And that's how I feel. That comfort level I got from three of us, Meena, Aladdin, and Biju. So whenever I used to be very demotivated sometimes in my job search. That okay, it's been a little while. What am I doing? Am I doing it right? So always Biju and Meena, they would be like, no, you should not quit right now. You're going doing very well. And I used to say, hopefully I get the job. And then Meena would always correct me saying that, no, it's not hopefully. You should believe that you will get the job. And that's how I met Aladdin. And I was very confident when I met him. And he is a very nice person. And he also makes me believe in myself and put myself always through challenges and do it successfully. Thank you, Meena, for so much for being all the time with me. And Vinay, Biju, Aladdin, they're all very good mentors. Like I met personally, and I feel like you meet certain people right at right stage and right time. That's what I would say about all three of you. And never job search
And
will never happen for me.
Ashwarya, I'm going to stop you here. Otherwise, and not
Okay, I'm
critical.
gonna stop it here. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Yeah,
You're not going anywhere, by the way.
yeah.
It's an hour round table. But thank you for that wonderful introduction. And next time when I want a job, I'm taking you with me because your hands will get me a job. What do you think, Alauddin? Right? The Alauddin is a great man, and Biju is a phenomenal man.
I was trying to find a place under my table.
I know. That was beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ash.
Thank you.
Let's move to Shreyas. So Shreyas, Ashwarya mentioned you. How did you get to know about Destination SEAL? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Sure, sure. So I moved to Toronto about last year around this time from Montreal. I was studying, I was pursuing masters in industrial engineering from Concordia University in Montreal, and I moved to Toronto last year. And for the first 6 months, I was just doing my applications by myself, and most of the times I was just referring to Indeed, where I was doing my job applications online, and I was not aware as such about the networking aspect, and uh, the main issue for me was after doing the application, I was not able to convert that into a job offer or sometimes into a final interview as well. So later on, I started using LinkedIn more, and when I was just surfing through LinkedIn, I came across Aishwarya's post one day, and maybe some mutual connection might have liked her post or something. That's how I came to know, and I just read her post about mentorship, leadership, passion, and that was the first for me because what connections I had, uh, they didn't really talk about it or wrote posts about it. So later I got in touch with her. I just asked her a few questions about what she's doing, and I took more interest because we share a similar profile. Like she studied, like whatever we studied and worked, it's almost similar. So I felt comfortable talking to her, and then she told me a bit about Destination CEO, what it does, about you, and that's how I got in touch with you, with you and with Destination CEO, and that's where I was introduced to a pool of mentors such as Alauddin, Biju, Vinay Pramanand, Sina, and so yeah, that was exciting. And through them, I would say my real mentorship began, or my job search began, where I was given some guidance as to how am I supposed to navigate through this job search and how am I supposed to be leveraging my skills into so that they are marketable, so that they are relevant to the job market, to the current job market. And so yeah, that's how I got in touch with Destination CEO. And through its pool of mentors, I was interested in getting in touch with Alauddin and Biju. So for me, I approached Alauddin. We had a just a quick chat, and I still remember our first conversation where he asked me about what's my passion, and I was really dumbstruck because I'd never really given it much thought as to what's my passion, and I couldn't really say anything on the spot. So that day I told him I'll just write him an email. I'll think about it and I'll write him an email. And from then we started talking about once every week, and just he was keeping a check on my skills, what I'm learning, and he made me work on a project just to see, just to test me out. So like what Aishwarya said was like it didn't feel like an interview, but for me, I wouldn't say it was an interview, but a series of interview where I was just seeing like where he was testing me out. Okay, how am I making progress, and whether I'm making any progress or not in the first place. So yeah, so later on, maybe he saw that I could do something. I could make continuous improvement in myself, my skills, and I could develop my skills further. And yeah, so later on, I did like eventually I did start working for him, which is great, which is something I wanted. And this is something I expressed to Aishwarya as well from the start. Like, I would like to work and just work in some capacity with him, because it's what he's doing, and the kind of work that Value Infinity offers is something it's something interesting for me as well. And it's been about 4 months now, and I've been enjoying my work. I've been enjoying my work, and also collaborating with Aishwarya and Alauddin on projects that we are working on at Value Infinity.
Thank you, Shreyas. I still remember the first conversation that we had. You said your dream and your aspirations was to work under Alauddin.
Yeah,
And,
that's because I checked
like
his
you had,
website, and I was just like,
Oh,
I was really, I was like, it's just like Aishwarya, I was also interested in manufacturing, supply chain, and change management is something new for me, but it's interesting, and I'm still learning with him. But yeah, it was like, yeah, I did say that to you though.
yes,
So you're
with a
always
ton.
being interviewed. That's what. See, now I'm aware. Every time
So,
he's talking to you, he's taking your interview.
yeah.
Just doesn't tell you.
And right now, over here, Alauddin, do you have something to say about Ashwarya and Shreyas before we move on to the current mentee you have?
no, I would actually, like to hear from them. Just I want to say, thank you for the opportunity, and it was a good timing. Always love to interact with talents and see human potential, and it gives me great, opportunity and feeling to be able to meet people, work together with different people. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to connect with our current participant, Ruchika. So, Ruchika, you're currently a part of Destination CEO with our June cohort.
Yes, Meena.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and, what brought you to Destination CEO um, and Alauddin in specific?
Sure, Meena. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Ruchika Gandotra, and I am an MBA professional with around 6 years of progressive experience working as a trusted advisor and consultant with Ernst& Young. I have strong background in research and analysis, project management, and strategic consulting. I landed in Canada in winters 6 months back. And after the initial setup, I started applying for jobs. I attended a couple of workshops related to job search tools, LinkedIn, resume building, but I was not getting any enough calls. So I was feeling a little bad that even after so much of experience and working for good brands, I'm not going anywhere. It's then um, the worst happened. Actually, COVID happened in March, and I was in a worse situation, and I was doing all this on my own. So then I realized that it is important to have a mentor in your life. It is important to connect with them and start your career here. I got to know about Destination CEO from one of my friends who is an associate professor at Humber College. And then I was also reading Meena Dolwani's LinkedIn posts, her sessions. So I got to know about Destination CEO. And then I decided to be a part of the Destination family so that I can learn and I can start and build my career here. I met Dr. Alauddin in one of the speed networking events, and I got really impressed by his career trajectory and his thoughts. his key takeaways, like you should target the audience, you should know your targeted audience. And I then wanted to get in touch with him. In one of the sessions, Meena also suggested me to get in touch with Dr. Alauddin. I didn't give a second thought to it, and I immediately connected with him. He's a very warm and approachable person, and he has been a good mentor to me. He has been a source of inspiration and encouragement over the last couple of months, and he's the one who actually keeps a track of my progress. So he messages me and asks me how am I doing, where I've reached, what is happening, how am I progressing. So I really admire him for those qualities. And thank you, Meena, for this platform. Thank you for connecting me to Biju and Alauddin, who have been source of inspiration. Whenever you feel bad, you know you have your mentors. Whenever you are feeling a little negative, you know you have people who can bring positivity in you. You get you know your self-worth, and you know you believe in yourself then. So thank you once again, and I'm sure under their leadership, under their mentorship, I'll be able to achieve my career goals soon. So it will be a stepping stone towards my shaping my career in Canada.
That's very sweet. Those are some really powerful words, Ruchika, that you've said. And that just puts a lot of pressure on the mentors right here. So,
No pressure.
right? Alauddin and Biju, how are you guys feeling right now? Are you on like flying? Head is too
I feel
big?
that I shouldn't be there in this call.
You should be then. Well,
Yeah.
first I'm going to request you if you could bring your camera a little lower,
Me?
please. Why don't you, Alauddin, you are, you know, you've traveled the world similar to Biju. Both of you have, I mean, such a phenomenal profile, and you've been through so much in life yourself, ups and downs. And you know, I remember Biju is my mentor, and that's why it's like every time when he says something, of course I have to debate with him and argue with him, because I need to really understand if I'm doing it right or wrong. And I know that's it's very frustrating for a mentor because their mentee wants to argue. And before, I guess I'm going to stop there. But why don't you, Dr. Alauddin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey, um, and why did you get into mentorship?
Hmm. Okay. My journey, I would say, both as a student and a career progression, professional life, one thing was common is surrounded by great people. As a friend, teachers, senior friends, and one common thing I think they all had was some way or other, influence me in a positive manner. And I think that has been a common theme for me for my life's journey. And whether they are my supervisor, whether they're my friends, classmates, or my colleagues, the way that they were influencing me is to observing me, of course, and understanding me and what I was going through. And if I needed some help, provide that help. If I had some opportunities, pointing me towards that opportunity, that hey, there is an opportunity, golden opportunity for you. So that actually to me describes mentorship. So what I'm trying to say is that a friend could be a mentor. Your classmate could be a mentor. Anybody could be a mentor as long as that person is observing you carefully, listening to you, and then values you and values me, and then tries to add value to me. So I saw a common link in all throughout the journey. Wherever in the journey, I felt really thriving, enjoying a lot in the work. It was it was like working with a mentor. It was never like working under something or under someone, right? That's my understanding of the overall journey. And yeah, so that's why I think that I love mentoring. And whenever I played any role in all the places that you have seen, be it Japan, be it in Australia, or working with Tatas and all. Even though title is one thing, but I was always probably playing the role of being myself, and that is a mentor to selected few. And those selected few, even if I'm leading an organization of say 600 people in offshoring and on-site, etc., I would be probably mentoring 10 of the potential leaders. So building the future leaders through mentorship has been now my way of our work. Doesn't matter what size of the team was with me. So it's been my life theme all the time. That's what I would say.
That's amazing. Thank you. And Biju, you recently we coined a term for you, and we said Biju is the serial mentor. You have mentored some way, shape, or form literally every single person that has been involved with Destination CEO. And you continue to do that. We're really, really grateful for that. But I guess everybody wants to know what got you into giving back so much, so selflessly.
Yeah, so I think Aladin said it right. I think there's value in mentorship. I think as you go through your career, you benefit from it, right? I mean, in my corporate career, I'm working for a company today where we have a mentorship program where people do apply and they get assigned to different. And even in I remember when I was working in Japan. There was this notion of how people would join a company and they would get assigned somebody for essentially for the rest of their life in the company, who was kind of there. And I thought that was always fascinating. The other part is I think there is mutual benefit. That mentor-mentee relationship isn't just one way actually. Like I have a co-op student who works for me today. I tell you, I learn from him all the time about things. I'm like, man, that's pretty good. Like, how do you do this and how do you do that? So I think there's a mutual benefit in any of these kinds of relationships where even though as a mentee, you may think like, what do I have to give? You actually have a lot to give because you have a different perspective, your different background, different ethnicity, gender, like just, there's so many elements of it. So I do it because I enjoy it, right? I enjoy going through the process, to listening and trying to uncover sort of what's really, what gets people going. And of course, I learned from that too. And I benefited from mentors in my own career who really helped me, right? I think the key is to know what kind of mentor you want, right? Like whenever I've had mentors, I've always wanted them to be very direct with me. Just, if I say something, but it's like, I rely on those people to, in moments when I'm not sure about something or I'm just thinking about something, I want to go and talk to somebody. But it's just a matter of style. But I want mentors who say, that's like stupid. Like, why would you do that? Versus, well, what do you think? Does it make sense? Like, right? So that's why I do it. There's a selfish motive to it, but also there's a benefit that comes from doing it. And I enjoy it, right? Like every interaction, every engagement that I have, there's always something that comes out. Either you're inspired by people and their story and what they do, or hopefully you can motivate and inspire them to continue. And it also gives you a way to shape your own style and how you communicate and who you are and how you engage. And I think that's just the overall benefit to it. And fights are good. It's good to fight. Mentors aren't always right. Most of the time.
Okay. But a thing that's really important to know is specifically with you, right? And there's a story that I'm leading to. How do you know what you're saying? I mean, being a mentor and guiding somebody is a huge responsibility. and that responsibility is, you want to make sure that what you're saying is really right. How do you really know what you're saying is right for that person at that time? Does it come from experience? Does it come from just the way you're feeling that time?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple, and I'm sure everybody has, their own stories. I don't think it's a singular responsibility. I think in any relationship, I think there's mutual responsibility to talk through things and understand. Yeah, I think experience plays a role in it, but sometimes not having experience also there's value to it, right? Because as we get more experience, we all kind of get uh, set in our ways many times. So it's not that every time a mentor says something that's gospel. It's a conversation that you're having. So I think the worst thing you can do with a mentor is somehow have this responsibility that every moment of that conversation somehow will alter the universe. It doesn't. Small things happen, and it's a conversation and thinking through of individual experiences that bring the best answer, right? If there is one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Alauddin, I don't know what your experience is, but I never think of it in those ways. I just have the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I would build on that, Biju. First, on the mutual relationship and mutual value. The way that I look at it, I'm always learning from the mentee. It's a self-reflection. To your point, Meena, when we are suggesting something or when I'm saying something, would I actually do it if I was in her position or his position? So it's no self-reflection, looking at the mirror to authenticate that. Did I do that, etc. And where the suggestions come from, I would say it's naturally it comes from the curiosity. The point that I was saying earlier, that to appreciate people's value. So if I'm curious on an individual, on his or her potential, so I'll be really keenly observing different parts of it, and most likely will be correct. And as you said, no, if I'm not correct, at least it won't be widely wrong, right? So there will be a catch ball that no, why are you saying that? So there will be there will be discussions, right? So the first question that I had asked Shreyas, and then he was completely shut down on the first conversation. But later on, he came back. I thought about it. I did some thinking about, and then this is what my answer is. So then we had some conversation going on, right? So
Yes.
it's a mutual thing. And there are now one factor, but the value appreciation, how want to add value, and the curiosity, then being curious on other person, right? And that helps a lot. And we learn a lot from the mentee, right? And in my career, I learned a lot. I keep saying it. Learned a lot from people who are 10 plus years younger than me in business, practically. And then they phenomenally actually delivered results in our businesses. So I'm always open for that, and I do appreciate that. And that's why I always keep going in that kind of crowd. There was a question, do mentors have their mentors? Yes.
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 Yeah, and experiences does play a role, right?
Yeah.
And I think that how experience plays a role is that if you've had similar journeys, then yeah, probably the mistakes I've made, I could probably warn you on. So I don't want to discount the role of experience or inexperience for that matter, but definitely experience gives the fact that you've done it and you kind of know, and you know what's behind door number 3, right? So don't open it, because I know there's a bad thing behind door number 3, and I think that's what that experience. I think that's what experience brings to the table, is just knowing what not to do or knowing what to do really well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is a very important point that Biju is bringing in, that experience and then not having an experience, right? So we looked at different organizations in the world. The confidence levels actually, plateau with some experience. So you need some kind of stimulation to raise that. Okay, because I tried in many ways and then it doesn't work. So with experience, the confidence can go down, right? So you need a different stimulation, different way of doing things. So in many cases, actually, too much experience on the same thing, same type of thing can actually be counterproductive and work against innovation. So needs to be a combination of this. Right? And that's why this kind of forum is very, very valuable, right? Different types of experience, different types of, there is a diversity on all front. And that's where the stimulation happens.
True. And Destination C is so blessed to have so many amazing mentors. There's a story I want to, the reason why I asked Biju, how does he know all the answers? Because he mentors me, and I am a very difficult mentee. He knows that. But there was a time, Aishwarya, in your life where you'd been applying for jobs and you stopped applying for jobs and you refused to apply for jobs because you just felt you couldn't handle another rejection. And no matter what I said or did, there came a point where you stopped taking my calls, and then Biju came in.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And he changed one conversation and you changed.
Right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about it? Because right now we do have a lot of participants that are feeling that way, that what's the point in applying when I'm going to get another rejection? And not just participants, but job seekers in general, where COVID has played a very bad role in their mental stability and they're feeling really lost. So would love for you to share that part of your story and what is it that this man told you that changed? So we can get him to say it in public and it's recorded and everybody can watch it.
Yeah, so what he said is, I remember it was Sunday session with you and Viju was there and we were all having pizza, which you offered, and then he asked me, how's your job search going on? I said, yeah, it's pretty okay right now. And he asked, why just okay? Why is it not you're having that positive attitude while you're answering it? And then I said, no, I apply, but I'm not getting any responses. So I'm kind of lost, I said. And then he added, so is that how you easily give up on things? You said you're continuous improvement engineer and you have to improve yourselves. If you're giving reasons that just because you're demotivated and you're not applying, that doesn't help you anywhere. So you're being like slightly a hypocrite and saying that you're a continuous improvement engineer. You want to be a continuous improvement engineer and not yourself, you're not improving. So that's when it hit my head that, okay, yeah, he's right. And I should get going. And that's what always I say. He keeps saying that always hustle, no matter what that phase will pass by, that phase will go, but you always have to try. Meena doesn't ask you much. She only asks you to apply 2 to 3 jobs a day. Why is it so hard for you? Why can't you do that? Why can't you just sit and do that? And I asked myself, yeah, why don't I just do that? It's not that hard task. Getting to know your dream boss and dream job, it's not that hard. Just give a try. Okay, then I sat for 1 whole week and that became my second nature. Then I started to improve myself. That's when Biju came in my life and he played a very, very crucial person that changed my perception that, okay, I should not give up. And I know this is the same, demotivating aspect for all the job seekers out there. But trust me, that is just a phase. Don't give up and we can get through that. Be it COVID or be it some other major disaster, we can come across that.
Wow, well, thank you.
Yeah, Biju and I did not exchange note on that.
That's right. That's right. We didn't exchange anything on that one.
Well, you see, a mentor does the magic behind the scenes and then presents to you. So Biju then presented the properly mentored Aishwarya to Alauddin. And
just gave a bit of conversation.
the rest just flowed.
Well, that was my thing to her. I said, you can't be a continuous improvement engineer and not improve the process that's broken for you. Like, how does that work?
Right.
No, it's tough. Listen, I mean, and I think, I think the pandemic is here. It's happening. And I really don't think, I know it's hard, but, people shouldn't take that personally because it's not a circumstance that they have any control over. And I think in those moments of pain, I think you have to think about what you really have control over, and you don't have control over the fact that there's a virus that's spreading. And that's not a reflection of who you are as an individual, as a professional, whether you're capable or not. And things will get better. We are in Ontario at least getting to phase 3. Things are opening up. Then yeah, and like this is the time to learn more. Be a better continuous improvement engineer if you want a job, so that when you come out of this, you'll be like, I'm 5 times better than I was 2 months ago. And I think that's the key, right? Accomplishment is important for sure. Yeah.
So continuous improvement engineer. And Shreyas, your new title is?
Business analyst.
Business analyst. So what do you guys want to tell us about Value Infinity? Let's ask you.
For me?
Yeah. No pressure. Now you go to Mike.
So
all the mentoring is going to come out now.
So just to keep it short and sweet, what we're working on is mainly on talent integration along with technology, and how we can help a certain company, certain client with bringing the best with what they have, be it technology or people. How do we empower them? And there's a lot of coaching done by Alumni on that front. And on the back end, it's mostly me and Aishwarya, where we are working on some project documents, project management, data analytics, creating reports and documents, which would be supporting documents for Alauddin when he's presenting it to the customers. So it's somewhere in that capacity, I would say. And it's really interesting just learning about it and getting coached, like just by working and getting coached is something really nice.
So Alauddin, I guess you better get ready, because now you're going to get a lot of mentees, because everybody now wants a boss like you who's going to constantly be mentoring them throughout their journey.
Love that.
Ruchika, I know you had a question for our mentors today.
Yes, Meena. So we always look for mentors. What do mentors look for in a mentee before they say yes to mentorship?
That's a good question.
It's a reciprocal. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I need like a couple of minutes to think about that.
Okay, no, it's a reciprocal relationship, right? So if something goes from me or a mentor, what kind of response we get from the mentee? That's what matters. So if that response comes, there will be some kind of dynamics or energy, and then you will see the exchange. Some mentorship relationship can take little time, some will not, right? So just taking the example of Biju and Sharia. So when Biju challenged her, she had some response, right?
Yes.
That either response is either agreeing, disagreeing, or taking some actions, right? And that's what actually is looked for. And then could be another set of questions. It could be agreement, it could be disagreement, but it needs to be kind of thoughtful exchange of views and actions, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's related. I think it's transparency and just interest, right? Like you have to be interested in and curious about whatever is on your mind. And I think that's important, and because that curiosity leads to feedback and the ability to kind of be objective about it and say, is that true? Is that not true? And to Alauddin's point, I think you have to be willing to have a conversation that may sometimes be difficult, but is required, and not. So that's what I kind of look for. But initially, when I start talking to people, even in coaching and stuff, like I don't know, I don't know what they are and what they're not, but that's okay. I like the mystery. It's interesting because everybody has a different story. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So to that point, I mean, I don't like black hole. One directional, some message gone, and then no response coming. So there is a finite time, finite window that I personally wait. After that, I don't wait.
That's true. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, you can't just just fly in the wind forever, right? I mean, you have to respect people's time and so on. Yeah, good question.
Thank you, Biju, and thank you, Alauddin, for this answer, for your response.
So, a question leading on to what Ruchika just asked. Destination CEO participants are phenomenally lucky, I have to admit, because they already get a huge group of mentors that are attached to Destination CEO. However, if I'm a newcomer and I really don't have any network or relevant network, and I admire you from afar, it's quite intimidating for me as a newcomer who has probably only international experience or limited experience to reach out to either of you just by looking at your LinkedIn profile. So, A, how do I overcome that? It's again talking about fear. But B, how should I approach either of you so that you grant me and you give me the time of your mentorship? Everybody's talking about virtual coffee chats, right? Guidance
Sure.
chats. Give me 15 minutes, give me 20 minutes. What is it? How should I approach you for that 15 minutes?
Sure. I think being intimidated comes from, so listen, experience is experience. I would start there, right? Whether it's here, whether it's in Japan, UK, India, I really don't think that should come in your way of thinking, right? Because then you're kind of devaluing the work you've done, which nobody deserves to do, right? Like if I worked in Germany for 10 years, it doesn't make my experience any less valuable when it comes to an industry. So I think that's one part. Otherwise, you're kind of getting out of there. Once you get past that, the way to do it is to do it and look at what the worst case is. The worst case is somebody will say, I don't have time. So do you really lose? Like, what do you lose? And I think the way you approach it is to say, comes from a position of curiosity and interest, saying, hey, I see your profile. You seem to have done a lot of things. I think there's probably, do you mind if we meet, right? Virtually, whatever it is, and just talk through and just for me to understand. And that's it. I can tell you that in the last 6 months, probably more since the start of COVID, I have time slots in the morning and the evening, and they're booked till probably end of August, just by people reaching out saying, I just want to talk to you. And I've talked to all sorts of people across all industries in different parts of their career, founder, like every sort. And I like it. I enjoy it because you get to learn just about so many different people. And there are a lot of times you finish the conversation, you're like, that's interesting. And there's actually people that I've talked to that I've never known before who've just reached out. At different levels in the organization that I still to this day continue on a weekly basis. And I didn't even know them 2 months ago. So that's what I would say. I mean, different styles, different people, right? You should reach out. It's okay. Worst thing is I'll say no. And I've had that. There are people who reached out to me about, hey, can you be a mentor and so on? I'm like, I can't. I already have like 4 people. I can't. Because I don't think it's fair for me to do that if I can't commit the time. Yeah. How about it?
Yeah, I would say reach out. Personally, I try to observe what's interesting, try to find out, try to keep the number of mentees limited to be able to provide value or quality, right? Quality time. So that way, if anybody reaches out, I mean, just for connections, it is okay. But if it is for interactions, no, I look for something interesting, curiosity, right? So Is there something going to be commonly, interesting for both sides? Or is it plain simple helping out? Then in that case, if I'm able to help, I will, agree on that. But if it is a lengthy process, then I will try to see, is there any common, because it needs to be sustainable, right? It's not just the first call.
Yeah, I think that applies to everything. I don't think it's a matter of being intimidated. I think you should just try it. And like Aishwarya said, she started applying. She did 3 a day. Then she did that for a week. Then second week, she did more of it. It's just practice. And third week, if you don't do it, you're like, I feel odd. I need to do something. So you go and apply again.
Right.
It's the same thing reaching out to people. You reach out once, you do it every day. If you just set a target, say, well, I'm going to reach out to one person every day based on what I've read about their profile because I'm genuinely interested in what their story has been. It'll just become a habit and you just keep doing it. And if people say no, their loss. Move on. Just move on.
True.
Aishwarya, I know you had a question to ask today.
Yeah, a lot of people have they are struggling because of the COVID. They are they're struggling in the job search right now. Like right after their graduation, because of COVID, they are not having any opportunities open. So, what words do you have for them or any job seekers out there? Like how to stay motivated for them to keep going?
Yeah, I think I would say you have to keep applying. And I would say at this point, this is the time to learn. Because learning is another way of accomplishing something. I think it's important in times like this that you feel something you're accomplishing, that you're moving some progress, right? Making some progress, you're moving in some direction. And that also keeps the mind busy because an idle mind is a devil's workshop. And if you're not busy, then you start thinking of all sorts of things. And now you want to control the pandemic. Like it's a bad place to be. So commit time during the day to apply, do all the good things. And the rest of the day, study, join certificate. There's so many things that are free today available. Learn and then share. Learn and then share because I think that'll make you feel good about what's going on. And people get to know that you're actually committed to learning even in times like this, which is always good. Companies look for the people who learn all the time. They do.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I would say. I don't know.
Thanks.
Logan, what would you say? And there's a question directly for you.
I'd say, keep doing, what Biju mentioned. On top of this, also be observant. I mean, these are great times to maintain yourself, and life teaches us many things, right? So this is where we learn patience, and we never know, right? Someday all of us will be reflecting on these several months and say that, you know what, we learned that, we reflected, we observed that, and this is what actually, changed my life, right? So things will happen over time, on time, when you keep doing it. So don't get disheartened, keep doing it. But it's also an important thing, really to observe yourself. You are your own asset, which is under your own control. Pandemic is not in our own control. But in that process, if you can learn patience, it will be great value. One of my mentors, within a short time, he became my mentor. He said, and my question was actually, how do you teach people patience? And he looked at me and says that if you have lived a full life, you would have learned, you would learn patience. And then tell me more about it. He says that, okay, in good time, you're helping others, right? If anybody reaches out to you, you're helping them. In difficult times, you overcome them. So you are taking on challenges, seeking help from others, and all. So you live through all those things, and that's what a full life means. And then a full life teaches us many things. One of them is patience. So I would agree with that. I don't know what Biju is saying.
Yeah, and I think it's good to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you should. I don't think you're required to be a superwoman or Superman. It's okay to understand that I'm just not motivated today. And I'm just not going to do anything today because I feel like crap. It's okay. Because the more you don't acknowledge it, the worse it becomes. right? Because you're going through something, and knowing that it's happening to you, I think it's very important to be patient, because you know that it's a moment that's occurring that you have control over, but not at that moment, which I think is good, right? Otherwise, it's bad. You put it in the cover and you get upset and you go into depression. It's not a good place. You should always acknowledge what you're feeling, because that's what you're feeling. You don't need to explain that to anybody. Just that's what you're feeling.
Right. Thank you, Viju and Aladdin.
Aladdin, there's a question
Yeah.
for you.
Oh yeah.
Is that something you're
During this crisis, what kind of changes? Well, there are changes, new demands are not coming, that's one change. Some new aspects are coming, that's also a change. So change is happening in very simple terms is either people are stopping things or starting new things, right? And it's different by different industries, right? So in the industry that are growing up in healthcare and all, so there are one kind of stimulations that we are seeing, but things industries that are in a continuous manner, there are lots of projects portfolio changes happening, right? And if there are not enough value created, or if they can do later on, they can postpone it. In this time, I am sure Biju has a lot of points to add here, but first couple of months, it was mainly about business continuity. Yeah. And then after that, people started shifting, okay, how do I really bring in the strategic thinking, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of slowly shifting the gear to bringing those normal business practices into place while the working atmosphere is slightly different, it's still different, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Thank you. Shreyas, do you want to ask anything? Do you want to add anything?
Sure. Yeah, I just had a question for the mentors here. It was relating to I like reading. Personally, on my leisure time, I like reading. So any books that have inspired you, that has had an effect on your journey or your leadership style, your mentorship style, any books that you could, just name out particularly?
Oh my. There's a couple for me. I think there's some classics. I think How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I think that's like the de facto kind of a
I've read
read,
that.
I think.
Yeah.
There's a book called Getting to Yes for Negotiation, which is I think that's like textbook for pretty much most negotiation courses around the world today. Getting to Yes is like, right? That's one. By Jim Collins, there's Good to Great, which is really good. Followed two companies over a period of time and really talked about what leadership and things mean. And those come to mind. There's a whole bunch. I couldn't Crossing the Chasm. There's so many. Yeah.
Okay, maybe
but I don't read.
later.
I don't read cover to cover. So which is
all right.
I read bits and pieces, but I read 10 books at the same time, or listen to them. Right. Yeah, and today there's lots of options of podcasts and so.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Thanks.
Aladdin, did you have?
Yeah, when there is an opportunity, I will introduce you to my library here. But on Jim Collins, actually, there is a great book on Built to Last.
Yeah.
It's a great book, and the other book actually is Go by Eli Goldratt. And in fact, I flew from Tokyo to Toronto to meet him in person. That was one day event here in Toronto in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tipping Point is a good book.
Yeah.
Because it talks about how things become viral. And Made to Stick is a good book by the Heath brothers. I think they talk about how ideas stick. Trusted Advisor. You should go on and on. So
there is lots of them.
And YouTube has a YouTuber who reads the books and gives a full summary of the book in 10 minutes. So check that out too. Well.
And it's a never-ending thing. Actually, Biju and myself I asked him what is the book that he is reading now, or what is that? So we exchange notes on books to read. It depends on your mood, right? What are you thinking, and what's the best book to look at and reflect on, right?
It's an interesting thing. So it's important to read. This way, it's important to learn, and especially in a corporate structure. Like if I look at my management team, everybody's busy, and it's like I almost require them to spend at least half an hour a day, which is easy. If you think about reading or learning something half an hour a day, you can do it, right? It's like so we have a huge library of books, like online. So then I thought, why not just have, because as we have Imagine Reading, why not just have one person read a summary and really talk about what it is? This way, at least 6 of us will read every week, right? So
talk about pressure.
it's a practice. So you kind of read the summary, you look at the book, you're like, okay, you kind of come and you share with 5 other people and 6 other people, then kind of take turns. So in a course of a year, you've read enough things, and how that applies. So there are summaries. I agree. You should take them. And I think the other thing is when you read it, I think you should think about what is it in it that you can apply in your work or your personal life or whatever that makes you better. Right?
Well,
yeah.
We are out of time. It's 7:02, so apologize. I've taken 2 minutes extra, but I'm going to take 3 more minutes extra because we want to wrap this up. This was a beautiful session. But before we wrap this up, I'd like to very quickly go through to all the panelists and ask them one tip or one advice or one something, nugget of guidance, wisdom that you want to share with the people that are here today who are watching or will be watching the recorded version. So Aishwarya, I'll start with you. One nugget of wisdom you want to tell everybody that probably is a job seeker right now.
I would say never give up. Again, it is difficult right now, but never give up. And everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in its own time. And always learn something, as you said. Always learn something. Read, apply, keep applying. Keep making your resume better and better, and you'll get into good place.
Thank you. Thank you. And wish you all the success, my continuous improvement engineer. Ruchika, you are currently going through the job search process. What would you like somebody that is watching you to say? What to do?
I would say believe in yourself, as my mentors say to me, and focus on personal branding. That is very important. Uh, and last thing is build on your capabilities. You have the capabilities, you just need to build on that, and success will be yours.
Right.
Thank you.
True.
Thank you. Tres?
I would say just be curious and keep learning.
Awesome. Thank you. And Dr. Alauddin, what would you like to say? I would like you to tell the leaders that are watching, actually, the mentors, I'd like you to address leaders, why they should become mentors and why they should become mentors with Destination CEO. But that's my bias. Why should leaders become mentors?
Okay, so the great leaders are people builders, people developers, or they develop leaders. And one of the best ways to develop leaders is mentorship, situational coaching, etc. So if you are leaders, if you're trying to take your organization to the next level, there is no other way than building future leaders. And mentorship is one of the greatest way to build it.
Jeez.
Thank you. Wow.
He said it.
It's like sermon, right?
Yeah.
So, Piju,
Yeah.
our serial mentor.
No, I completely agree with him. I think that's definitely it's important to give back, and I think it's also about I think there's in a more selfish way. I think that's kind of how you leave an impact on the world you live in, which is not that you talk about yourself, that others talk about you. I think that's important because that's how you kind of get to be known, and to Alathan's point, that's the way you kind of build, the Good to Great actually is an interesting book. It's an interesting book because they followed 2 companies over 10 years. One of the core themes that comes out of the book is that most great leaders are not extroverts; they're actually introverts. That's number one. And number two, they actually put processes and structures in place so that they create more of them through companies versus never doing anything about it. That's what makes great companies versus just kind of the okay companies, right? And one advice, if that was going to leave anything for everybody, I would say don't overthink it. Do not overthink this. Just start doing it. And when I say, hustle, which is your sole focus and obsession should be, how do I get past where I am today? Like, that's it, right? And if you try, you'll hit one, and you'll go to the next obstacle and you just keep trying. That's what I would say, because there is a way. Most things in the world that are obstacles, there's a way out. Either it's with mentors, either with your friends or family, there's a way out. And that's what you should do.
Thank you, Bijou. So to wrap up the session, I'd like to thank all of you for joining me in this panel. And I'd like to thank all of the people that are watching or will be watching later. I hope that you've learned what true mentoring and mentorship can really do for your careers. As you watched our participants, they found their mentors, they found their guides, they found their mentors in their bosses, and they continue to lead and grow. So it's about learning, it's about growing, it's about constantly pushing yourself, and it's about finding somebody that you can look up to, you can admire, and you can have those open conversations, transparent conversations where you can share how you feel. Now remember, mentoring, it's a gift that you're getting that is priceless. So make your mentors feel that their advice is priceless to you by doing what they ask you to do. At Destination CEO, of course, we're super lucky because we have a group of mentors that help each and every participant that comes to Destination CEO's bridging program, the Career Accelerator program, to get that individual support. But that's not all. We do also have a lot of community programs, community events that we do for the entire community, which are absolutely free. So if you haven't joined us for anything, and this is the first time you're hearing about us, go to our Destination CEO's LinkedIn page and check out everything that we're doing. We'll be right back on Friday with Spotlight, highlighting some of our current participants and showcasing what they do and how they do it best. Thank you very much for this evening. Thank you all, participants, mentors, mentees, for this wonderful show.